Hey boys and girls, welcome to Science. Today we are going to continue explaining how different structures can be assembled from same pieces. This is important so that you are aware how structures can be reassembled to make new structures. So looking at this tower that we talked about last week, that we showed last week, I want you to notice that there are lots of teeny tiny pieces that are put together to create this larger structure. What do you think the tower is made of? This is a notice and wonder. What do you think that really tall tower is made of? I want you to think and jot down in your notebook, what are some things that you notice about this tower? And what are some things that you wonder about this tower? What do you think it is made out of? Well, we are going to listen to a book called The Wonderful Towers of Watts. And in this story, it is about the tower that we just saw on the page before. So let's listen to this story and find out what this tower is made out of.
Story is in here. The Wonderful Towers of Watts.
The Wonderful Towers of Watts by Patricia Zelver. Pictures by Frené Lassac. Read by Angela Bassett. A lot of people thought Old Sam was crazy. Old Sam's real name was Simon Rodia. He had come from Italy as a young man and spoke with a thick accent. He bought a little bungalow in Watts, a poor neighborhood in Los Angeles. He baked his bread in an outdoor oven he'd made, just like the oven his mother had used in the old country. Sometimes he was friendly and smiled at people. Other times his thoughts seemed far away, and he'd speak to no one. Old Sam worked as a laborer at Taylor's Tile Company. Every evening, he got off the streetcar carrying a large burlap sack of broken colored tiles. What's Old Sam gonna do with those? People said. On weekends, Old Sam walked down to the vacant lot by the railroad tracks and collected things that people thought were better thrown away. He brought home blue milk and magnesia bottles, broken bits of colored pottery, even pieces of broken mirrors. Sometimes he paid the neighborhood kids pennies or cookies to bring him empty green soda bottles and sacks of seashells. What does Old Sam want with all that junk? People wondered. Old Sam spent most of his money on sacks of cement, sand, and steel. People could hear him working in his backyard behind a high fence. Old Sam, what's he up to? They said. One day, to the neighbors' amazement, something strange and beautiful rose up over the fence in Sam's backyard. It was a lacy web of steel covered with a skin of concrete in which Old Sam had stuck glittering bits of tile, glass, mirrors, pottery, and seashells. Was Old Sam building a fairy castle, a church spire, a tower in which he could climb to the sky? Everyone stared in wonder at Old Sam's creation. Sam went on working. He worked all by himself for 33 years in all kinds of weather, high off the ground, with only a winter washer's belt to keep him from falling. While he worked, he listened to opera music. His favorite singer was Enrico Caruso. Old Sam could be heard singing along with him. The children of the neighborhood grew up and had their own children, who watched old Sam's towers soaring into the sky. Old Sam was getting older, too, but he went on working, just as before. Sometimes old Sam invited the neighborhood children into his yard. Inside, the children found a magical city with little streets, squares, and fountains. The walls were covered with heart shapes, seashells, colorful tiles, and a golden bumblebee. Stuck in the cement were all sorts of curious objects which old Sam had collected over the years. A teapot spout, cowboy boots, a horseshoe. Newspaper reporters heard about the towers and came to see them. "What do they mean?" they asked him. Old Sam just smiled. "What are your plans?" they said. Old Sam pointed to his head. "Why did you do it?" they said. I just felt like it," old Sam said. One day, when Sam was 80 years old, he gave the key to his house to a neighbor and went off to live near his relatives in another city. It was the last time he saw the towers. He never came back again. Watts is still a poor part of Los Angeles, but no other place has the Watts Towers. And every year, people come from all over the world to marvel at old Sam's crazy dream.
So, we have learned that the Watts Towers is made out of lots of things found around their town. There's glass and bottles and all sorts of little pieces that they have put together to build this tower. So what we're going to do today is we are going to make our own towers using materials that you have. If you're at home and you have either crayons or marker or something that you can draw with, we're going to be building a tower similar to the tower that was made at the Watts. Okay? You're going to have to explain what materials you use to build your tower. You can take a picture of it and upload it into a discussion post once you have drawn your tower. So meet me back on Zoom and we will discuss what our towers might look like and what materials we're going to use.